So I touched on this subject a little bit previously in a video that I made discussing the whole is Steam a monopoly sort of thing, and I wanted to go a little bit further on it because I feel like it's warranting an actual video and a full-on discussion. What is Steam's secret sauce, so to speak? What makes it so integral to the PC gamer zeitgeist that makes it just unbeatable in its space? Honestly, the answer to that question has been staring at us right in the face the whole time. Because if you log in and you pay attention at your Steam application, minus your library and your own profile settings, you're left with your store and everyone's favorite 2009 sitcom, Community.
This better not awaken anything in me.
Now I know, that seems a lot more simple than it actually is, but its beauty is in its simplicity and it's as complex as you personally want it to be. Let's take a dive into those features, shall we? Now, before we dive into the Steam community features, let's go ahead and let's take a quick comparison and actually see what the alternative looks like in Steam's quote-unquote biggest competitor in the Epic Game Store. Now, if you look at the store itself, let's subtract our library, which thank you Epic Game Store for the free games. It's the one feature it's got going for it is free shit, and I'll take it if you're gonna give it. But let's subtract the library, and what are we left with? We're left with a storefront. Okay. It's sure, you've got games, we've got deals, we've got a lot of the same stuff that Steam is going to have on offer, minus the free stuff. Scald, sure, all right. And then beyond that, okay, well, we have their Unreal Engine. Looks like it is a store and news and stuff about their proprietary Unreal Engine software, and I'd imagine this is where they have info on like asset packs and stuff like that. Fab, whatever the hell that is. Yeah, okay, looks like this is exactly that. So we've got assets that you're able to buy. I imagine it's nice for licensing. Yep, so you purchase licenses for different sort of things that you can use for assets if you plan on being a developer. That's cool. Okay, so there's some community features here, but I would argue that is this not just another storefront?
Money, please. My money.
I see that they've got a drop-down menu here to make it easy for you to be able to filter what sort of licenses and things that you want to integrate into your own sort of projects and your own sort of games or whatever the licenses allow. Like, okay, that's fine, but again, I'm just looking at dollar signs here. I'm looking at reviews for like how good the product is, but ultimately it comes down to another storefront. So we've got one storefront where they sell the games, and then we've got another storefront where they sell the things to build games. Like, okay, those are the community features that you're gonna get, i.e. buy shit from me, buy stuff on the Epic Game Store, and that's it. All right, well, that's fine. So let's take a bit of a chunk of a dive into the Steam store. So hey, we're in the middle of the winter sale. Perfect. And again, the store itself, like comparatively to the Epic Game Store, like it just looks so much cleaner. Like this modern black scale, like it just looks so kind of lazy, uninspired. There's not much going on here. Again, a lot of the Fortnite stuff kind of plastered. You've got your standard affair, but there's no personality. There's no flavor to it. That's what I'm looking for. There's nothing here that really kind of makes me feel like I'm in like an actual little storefront. This just looks like, hey, here's a little digital library. Buy shit. We'll give you free stuff if you promise to come here from time to time. Whereas the Steam, again, like the Steam girl from a year or two's Steam summer sale that was really popular, that people are still just dying to have back. Like, they would partner with artists and come out with new fun storefronts and things for them to do. Like, there's actual flavor, like there's actual there's actual community. There feels like there's something here in these storefronts. So again, the storefront just on its own, like, again, if we look at it at face value, a storefront is a storefront is a storefront. Like, it's going to sell you games, it's going to sell you DLCs, it's going to sell you products. Alternatively, Steam, compared to the Epic Game Store, also offers hardware. So the Steam Deck, obviously, very, very, very successful and amazing product. I personally own the 512 LCD model that I bought before it got retired, which I was super happy that I did. Ended up actually selling my CS2 knife at the time, and bought myself a Steam Deck with it. And so I think that was a smart purchase. I've been enjoying the hell out of that. But okay, so we've got, so beyond the storefront, beyond the games and the DLCs and everything, we also have got physical hardware that is going to be unique to Steam, is going to be unique to Valve, right? Valve's hardware. In the future, we're going to have the Steam box. We're going to have the Steam frame. There's going to be the new updated Steam controllers. So it's going to be it's going to be the place to go for the first party support on like Valve's hardware, which is awesome. So that's stuff for us to look forward to that Epic doesn't have, but again, Epic has it looks like the back end stuff for like Unity and the what is the name of the Unreal Engine support. So hey, that's fine. So okay, so beyond the storefront, let's take a look at the community tab, shall we? So I know this is a place that not a lot of people pay attention to, but it's weird in that it has a lot of sort of effects, like, the screenshots that you take, the videos that you share, and everything else. I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but the community functions are just awesome, and they're integrated into it, and it kind of makes Steam just a whole package of what's going to be far superior beyond every other platform or launcher. Everything else is either just a storefront to the games that they make directly or to games that they're licensed with. So all right, so community, so we've got our home page. Yours is going to look different from mine because it's going to be based off of the games that you play, and Steam's going to try to curate these sort of things. But it's nice that they have stuff that they're trying. They're showcasing mods, they're showcasing screenshots from your friends and game guides and fun little things that if you want to come in here from time to time to pay attention to, it's there. They're not doing it with an intent to try to make anything off of it. They're just doing it because people like to pay attention to it from time to time. I mean, I would argue that's a hell of a lot better than logging on to Facebook and getting mad because who knows what sort of crazy stuff the algorithm's trying to shove down your throat. No, this is strictly games that you're playing, curated to some of the stuff from people around the world that are having fun with it too. I think that's nice. There's nothing insidious about it. Then we get into our discussion boards. Again, something that I pointed out in my previous video that is one of my favorite points of having just Steam in general, because if you're ever having an issue and you're wanting to figure out why your game won't launch, or why it blue screens, or why you can't get it into full screen, or yada yada yada, the list goes on and on and on and on. What's one of the first things you usually find? Oh, well, a Steam community discussion board, and maybe the mod pops in and tries to answer questions, and you can actually kind of have a discussion with the developers directly. And I think that it's really cool. Or again, people come up with fun ideas, and it's an active place. Like the Steam discussion board is actually fairly active, and sometimes there's crazy stuff and crazy people, and that's true with any discussion board. But I think the fact that you have such a direct line of both support with like developers and having such kind of like a raw input with the community is, again, the fact that they host this without asking anything out of, the community or the developers. It's just something that they offer as part of a community feature. So the discussion boards are really cool. All right, so let's go on to some of the heavy hitters, dude. Let's take a look at some of that real meat and potatoes. We got a workshop. Okay, so Epic Games has their workshop, which, to be fair, is more of a legitimate license. So the Steam workshop is going to be mod support, community support. These are sort of things that are unique to the individual games. You can't take these assets and try to use it in your own projects or try to use them commercially. That's not what this is for. If you want something like that, then okay, the Epic Game Store and that Fab tab might be your place to be, and you will figure out whatever licensing is. That is a whole other Wild West. So if that's what you're looking for, then go ahead and hit up the Epic Game Store. However, if you're looking for something that, again, is just directly community driven relative to your game that you're playing, or one that you're passionate about, or one that you're maybe even working on yourself, the Steam Workshop is an amazing place. It's basically the number one and number two for mods. For those of you who know, Nexus, right? Nexus Mods is going to be one of your biggest go-tos. Besides that, Steam Workshop, dude. I remember, like I said, playing Left 4 Dead 2, and this was the place to go to keep the game fresh. I'd come in weekly and I'd find new things and new characters to play as and different maps to go through, and it just breathes life into games. It helps kind of keep a really great support. Project Zomboid, again, one of my all-time favorite just games, not even just zombie games in general, just video games in general. Oh my god, love Zomboid. I might come out with a review, do some streaming, but anyways, some of the most fun and amazing mods that I've ever played or for games like Zomboid, and it was through the Steam Workshop. I just absolutely adore their mod support and the fact that it's just so easily integrated. You go in, you click a button, it runs. If it doesn't run, then sometimes if it's a good modder, they'll have a discussion board where they are working on the mod, coming out with updates, and are able to address any issues that people may have, right? It's just community. It builds community. That seems to be the thorough line here. Valve is so on the pulse about that. They understand it so well. It is literally the number 2 most important function on their application. That, like I said, you take away your library, you take away your profile settings. It is the storefront and community front, community features, community functions, whatever you want to call it. It is Steam obviously is all about trying to build a community. They want to keep you in here, and at the same time, not ask of your time or blast you with ads or do all this other sort of stuff that just feels like they could absolutely try to figure out a way to monetize things and just hit you with ads left and right for their community features. But they don't. They just kind of have it there, and they offer it as a service that, I mean, it doesn't cost them much, but it costs them upkeep, it costs them moderation. It's not nothing. So it's nice that these are the sort of things that they have that, again, you don't really think about, but it's like, this is what these are the bones, so to speak. This is what gives them that stabilization. This is what gives Steam that attention to detail, that edge, at least in my opinion, of what makes them so much more important to the community, is the fact that they recognize that there is even a community, is the fact that they even want to be able to support a community without asking really much of you in return, other than just hey, come enjoy the time, come sit by the fire and tell your tales and share what you have. And that's just kind of part of that function. And I think that that's just amazing. That's something that literally every other storefront just absolutely lacks on. And I haven't even touched on, literally, I'm just on a workshop and I'm over here going oh, look at that. That could have been the end of my video. Not even done yet. No. So that's the mod support that they offer in the workshop. Now here comes a little bit more. So we've got the more famous and then infamous, the marketplace, the Steam marketplace, a literal living breathing economy where Valve, if I remember correctly, brought in an actual like a literal IRL economist in to help build a marketplace that is going to be sustainable. And well, they fucking nailed that. That was a genius move on their part, because that is 100%. That person came in and they cooked. They made a god dang souffle. A filet mignon is what they made. And decade or so has gone by, and the Steam community market is a literal like place where third world countries have actual jobs on, you know, flipping just the trading cards or freaking Counter-Strike cases, which is that is a whole other bag. And especially with the recent update where now they're starting to remove cases and things are starting to go wild. I should probably make a video about that. But that's not even including those sort of things. So yes, these things were done with intention. These are the sort of things that the other game stores, the Epic Game Store, the EA Play, what was it before? Origin, right? Like Uplay, like all those other storefronts that have just kind of failed, come and gone. Amazon, I believe they tried at some point too, and their storefront, their game store, whatever, just failed, just flat on there. They just gave up, right? Because they're not willing. They don't want to have to build these community supports. They think that, oh, it's just a storefront. I can do that. We can put out a storefront. We can, and people, they'll just flock to our services because we'll be a little bit cheaper or the exact same price. And for some reason, people will flock to our service. Like, no. You got to put in more effort than that, right? Like, people will go in and we'll start it, and you'll see like an initial boom because creating a profile is free. Like, yeah, I created my Epic Game Store because you gave away free shit. Sure, yeah, but I'm not going to stay there. I'm not going to play most of my games on there. I'm not going to actually interact or chat with my friends or do anything on your store because there's nothing there for me to hang out. Perfect example of this. So to me, here's an IRL example of this. Let's take your local comic shop. Let's take a local game store. And I'm going to ask you this because this is perfect for me because it's kind of similar of like what my local comic shop is like. Let me ask you, if you go into a comic store, like a store for nerds, right? Like this is what this is. It's a store, video games, nerds, blah, 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 nerd culture. I don't have to explain that to you. It's a storefront for nerds. So if you walk into a nerd store and you're just browsing, you're just hanging out, you're just browsing, maybe friends are going to meet up there, you're going to make lunch plans or something, you're going to do something, who knows, but you're just browsing, right? You walk in there and let's say it's the Epic Game Store. It's just display cases and it looks nice and it's like well organized and it's kind of like, you know, like modern, like, okay, sleek, sure. But like, that's it. Like, that's all you have. Literally, you have cameras, you have people watching you, monitoring your spending habits and trying to like kind of lure you in with like, oh, hey, we'll give you some free, you know, free stuff at the door. And okay, gets you in. You want to check the shop out. But like, that's it. That's all you have. You have literally nothing but storefronts, right? You're not going to spend much time there. You're going to buy your shit, you're going to get out of there, and that's going to be it. You're not going to think about it. That may be a story you'll come back to every now and again if there's a good deal that you hear about, right? Okay. All right. So that's one, and these are real life examples. Like I've been to a comic shop literally exactly like that. Like it's just the comics, just the action figures, just all this stuff, and that's it. And sometimes, you know, the storekeepers, like they're nice or whatever, but it's like, okay, like that's it. This clearly is not a place for you to hang out. They are just all about business, which is fine. That's your storefront. Do for it. Just don't be a dick about it. So here's the alternative of that. And this is why it's kind of like personal for me in the sense, because I just thought about it, is now let's take that same storefront, but let's be thoughtful about it. Let's be purposeful about it. And let's replace some of the displays. And okay, sure, you don't get to maximize your, like, you know, your storefront, so to speak, your you know, places to sell, but let's replace some of those displays with like couches and like a snack bar, and like maybe there's a table there full of like free stuff where you can like build your own like little models, or you can work on like painting some of your Warhammer figures, and they offer like free places, free community things where you can come in and they'll give supplies of like basic paints and brushes and things, and they don't ask anything of you. They just say, hey, we've got limited spots, you could come in and you can do those sort of things. And they're actually like running like games that are like coordinated, and they have thought like okay, doesn't that store feel like a place where you would actually just spend you could spend the entire day there? They've got activities, they've got places for you to do. You could come back next week and you're excited. Maybe you made some friends because you guys were building Gundams together and you didn't realize that they had, certain paints that were, coming from Japan or something, like, again, like my brain's just going all over the place. My point is that like those community those couches, so to speak, those community functions, and being purposeful about that makes for just a significantly better experience. You as a consumer, you as a person, have ties to that. You have a tie emotionally to that place that makes you want to come back there, and it feels like you have more of a sense of community. You're able to, again, like you're able to post like your videos, your screenshots, you're sharing things with like your friends. You have a marketplace where you're getting drops that you can buy and sell stuff on. And if you were like an old school Counter-Strike player who had, and this is true for a lot of people who have like just an inventory full of old case drops that they just completely forgot about, and they came back in, and now all of a sudden, those 3-cent cases are now worth like 30 cents to $1 to almost $30 a piece. Okay, like, yeah, you feel like you're a little bit more invested. You feel like your time spent on that storefront was spent a little bit more, and so it incentivizes you to kind of come back. So that's my little rant there on like just the marketplace. And here's the final little tidbit of it. Broadcasts, and it's so funny because I didn't even think about that until I was coming into research and kind of get a feel of some of the community features to discuss things a little bit beforehand, as opposed to just sitting here and rambling. And I mean, I'm doing that anyways, but so broadcasts are, again, like their own like streaming. And I thought about it, I'm like, wow, why aren't I broadcasting, some of the games that I'm playing? Like, that'd be something for me to try to do too, just to even like, because my whole point is, I understand I'm small fry. I'm not in here for the money. Like, money would be nice in the future, sure. Make a little something, a little hobby, something for me to kind of like have fun with and stuff, and do something on the side. But like, if I'm like serious about growing a community and I want to just kind of like get myself out there, Steam broadcasts, I mean, there are viewers here. I'm sure, that I don't know if this includes like any other viewership from like Twitch or YouTube or what. I don't think so. But the fact that there are, some viewers, there's still opportunity here. And you can take a look at some of the, let's take a look here. RuneScape Dragon Wilds looks like Mod Doom. Mod Doom is playing Dragon Wilds. Let's take a quick peek. Let's mute this audio. The video looks great. I'm not seeing any stuttering, right? The video codec looks fantastic. Like, I'm not seeing any stuttering. It's coming in smooth. It looks like, and maybe because this is, a mod for RuneScape, that they're getting a little, like, they have a little bit better sort of connection. But, again, it looks great compared to some of the footage that I've seen on like YouTube streams. YouTube, I love you with your video format and everything that I'm trying here, but like your live format, the video streaming on it, just work on that codec, please. Like, let's get it. Like, I hate the discoverability on Twitch. You are not going to get discovered on that platform, so I want to stream more on YouTube. But man, when I look back on some of that footage, it is a pain for me to watch, and for me to be like, dude, the people who are watching me on this are dedicated, because like, those frames being dropped sometimes. Anyways, I digress. So again, a final portion of their broadcasts. final portion of their community features, we've got broadcast like Twitch. Steam literally has their own built-in broadcast system, their own built-in Twitch, so to speak, right? Could you imagine what that would look like if Steam someday decides to or figures out how to like properly, and again, it's difficult because like I said, in order to do that, you'd have to monetize it. That would mean bringing on advertisers, which is just a dirty dealing in and of itself. So maybe they can do it where they only advertise games from within that respective space, so it feels a little bit better. Maybe that will draw people in to come and watch streams directly through Steam, because the advertising isn't just awful commercials that you're trying to avoid on your day-to-day, and it's just like, you know, commercials for like indie games that you may or may not want to actually play. Like, I think that'd be fun, but that's just me spitballing here. I'm just coming up with ideas. So, but again, I think that it's really awesome that they're so forward thinking, that they're so just wanting to kind of have that community, that they even again like have these sort of functions. Now I know that PlayStation, Sony, and Xbox, they have similar sort of functions with their like, you know, streaming, like you can click the share and go live and stuff through there, which is, you know, fun sometimes, but I don't think that it has the same community base, it has the same audience like Steam would have directly if, again, you're streaming directly from your game session from Steam, and you're able to also multi-stream through like Twitch and YouTube and Kick if you're into that, like those sort of things. So I think that that's really freaking cool. So those are all the functions that Steam has that are just, again, leagues above what any other launcher or storefront even compares to have, right? Like they cannot even compare. Like Steam is out there as a heavy hitter because they actually care about their community, and it clearly shows because they're putting in the work and the functionality into things that no other platform even sees the value in, right? So, for example, if Epic Game Store, like, okay, let me put on, if I wanted to be a consultant for the Epic Game Store, here's some free advice. Yeah, they're paying attention to me. With my 80-something subscribers, here's my free advice for Epic Game Store. You got to focus on your community features, dog. And you've got a really great opportunity, especially with some of the games and unique licenses that you hold, that you can really start to like lean in on. Like, if you were to also spend the money, stop giving executive bonuses, and stop patting yourself on the back for a job that you haven't done yet, and spend the money and figure out how to offer your own sort of like in-house because Epic, they'll accept ads. Epic, yeah, they'll do it. So build your own broadcasting, build your own Twitch alternative. Right now, people are starving for a Twitch alternative. Offer in-house unique drops and build your own community marketplace at the same time, where you know, content creators, people who play Fortnite for a living or any other unique multiplayer game, like try to focus heavy on like your multiplayer community driven games, and then offer unique content creator drops that people can only get through like subscriptions or viewerships or like live events that will be unique to those events, that will be really cool, that would then be supported by a third-party marketplace, which will allow people to then assign their own value and effectively speculate on. And if successful, like the Counter-Strike skin market is, you might be onto something. That 20-30% that you'll be charging per sale might actually be worth it in the long term if you actually sit your ass down and do your homework and don't continue to give yourself bonuses and kind of, again, pat yourself on the back for something you didn't do. So that would be my free advice to Epic or any other storefront for that matter. But I think Epic is the one that's obviously the one that's positioned the best to try to offer anything like that. Again, lean in on the community functionality, offer services similar to what Steam is doing right now, because it's not proprietary to them. Steam doesn't own the concept of a video game community. No, they're just the only ones that actually respect it, as a community, and more importantly, recognize its existence. Like Epic, you don't even recognize a community's existence in your own like application. Where is the place for people to share their gameplay, for them to share their screenshots, for them to share any sort of experience that they're having with one another? I know you think that people don't want that sort of functionality, but I would argue that Steam's discussion page, their marketplace, and their workshop beg to differ. I think that the success of those things and the fact that Steam is out there eating your lunch every goddamn day that you're out there trying to just exist means that this is probably the thing that you're missing, that they're doing right, that you're not doing at all. Anyways, I wanted to talk with this about you guys. This has been the Toasted Ninja. If you made it this far in the video, dude, you're a legend. +1 to you. Give your boy a like, give your boy a comment, give your boy a subscribe if you think I'm worth it. Keep it toasty out there. Peace.